now we're going to do the nerve conduction test for a patient with suspected brachial plexopathy. So we're going to do a shoulder girdle nerve. So the first two, we're going to do the sensory nerves, and these aren't really of the shoulder, but these are supplied by nerves in the brachial plexus. So these are very useful in brachial plexopathies. So the first one is going to be the lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So the lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve, we're going to place the ground electrode. We can place it on the shaft of the radius, on the shaft of the radius. So we're going to place it on the shaft of the radius right there, and our stimulation point is going to be just lateral to the tendon of the biceps. So we're going to stimulate the nerve just lateral to the tendon of the biceps, and we're going to place our recording electrode 12 centimeters distal to that. So we're going to place our recording electrode, our black electrode, 12 centimeters distal to the elbow crease. So that's where our electrode is going to go. Our black electrode will be placed 12 centimeters distal on the sort of lateral. It's not far lateral, but it's lateral to midline on the side of the forearm. The reference electrode is going to go distal to that. So we're going to place our reference electrode distal to the recording electrode, about 3 centimeters distal. And again, with our stimulator, we're going to place our stimulator at just lateral to the biceps tendon with the negative stimulating electrode pointed down towards negative recording. So this is a sensory stimulation, so we're going to use a very low intensity level. And I'm going to select lateral antebrachial cutaneous on the screen. So it's a sensory nerve, so I'm going to start a little lower. And there's the response there. Too much. Let's go back where we were. And there's the response there. A little small. Let's try moving this just a touch down. Oh, too much. So let's move this a little bit this way. Try to get that response to be a little bit bigger. No, I had it. Just it was small. Let's do a little gel and see if that one does it. I had it where it was. Okay, let's drop the intensity back down. Nope, not getting this one.
I think it's there.
No, not it, because it's too much of a motor response. All right, so what we can try using the bar electrode. So the bar electrode gives a little bit better skin contact. So we're going to take these off for a second and switch them out for the bar electrode. So the bar electrode again, we have a little bit of gel inside the wells here. There's the black, there's the red, and we're going to measure 12 centimeters, just lateral to the bicep tendon, so it's going to be right there. Okay, a little gel and stimulator. All right, here we go. That's it. That's the response there. It's a little small.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Let's store that and see if I can get it again. Nope. So when you get a response that you're not sure of, you always can try to store it and reproduce it to make sure that that's the response. Nope, too much. Hang in there. Nope.
But you have.
I got a small one, but it's not. There we go. There it is. There's the same one again. So I got the same nerve twice. It's a little small, but I can compare side to side, and I look for the amplitude side to side comparison. So that's the lateral interbrachial cutaneous. Now the medial interbrachial cutaneous is very similar, but we're going to stimulate on the opposite side of the biceps tendon. So for the medial interbrachial cutaneous, we're going to stimulate in between the biceps tendon and the medial epicondyle, so about halfway between, and we're also going to measure, again, 12 centimeters. So we're going to measure 12 centimeters, which will be right there. And there is the location for the electrode for the medial interbrachial cutaneous. Let's move this just a little bit this way. And there it is right there. So again, it's a sensory nerve, so we shouldn't need to use too much intensity. Let's use a little gel and a stimulator. And half the distance between the bicep tendon and the epicondyle is right about here. There's my negative stimulating probe. Increase the intensity. And trying to find the nerve. That might be it there. Change the gain to 10. Yep, there it is. Store that and try to reproduce it. And there's the response again. So I'm getting the same waveform at the same location. So again, it's a little small, but it's reproducible. So you store that there, you store that one there, and again, you compare the amplitudes between side to side. So that is the medial interbrachial cutaneous. So again, these are very useful in suspected plexopathies. Now the rest of the shoulder are motor nerves. So the shoulder motor nerves are going to be done with the patient in a seated position. So I'm going to disconnect all the electrodes, and then I'm going to ask the patient to sit up and face me. You can leave that one there. And we're going to do the motor nerves. Yep, take a shirt. All right, and just rest your hands at your side. So put them down like that. Good. I'll put this on. So we'll put this on here. Actually, we'll put it over there. It doesn't really matter. All right, so now we'll go to the easiest one first, which is the axillary nerve. So the axillary nerve, for all of these three nerves, the axillary, suprascapular, and musculocutaneous, the stimulation site is going to be the same. So we're going to place and the ground electrode is also going to be similar as well. So the ground electrode can be placed on, and you can put this on the pillow so it doesn't fall off. The ground electrode is going to be placed on the acromion. So the ground electrode is going to be placed on the acromion. For the axillary nerve, we're going to place the recording electrode on the belly, the largest part of the deltoid muscle. So I'm going to place that there, and the reference is going to be at the insertion of the deltoid, right at the deltoid tuberosity. So we have our three electrodes set up right there. Now the stimulation point Get a little gel for the stimulator. The stimulation point is going to be Erb's point. And Erb's point is located right following the sternocleidomastoid muscle, right to the edge of the clavicle. So if you ask the patient to look to the other side, to look to that way, you can follow the nerve, follow the muscle going down into here. And you're going to stimulate the nerve right in that location. So you stimulate the nerve right in that location with the negative stimulating probe right above the clavicle. So the negative stimulating probe right above the clavicle and the anode right behind it. So this is a motor nerve, so you're going to give it a little bit of jolt. And you kind of want to give it a little strong so it minimizes the number of shocks you give the patient. Okay, so here we go. And there it is. Get a nice big waveform. Increase a little more.
Oh.
Went a little bit bigger. One more time. Hang in there.
Oh.
And it stayed the same. So it stayed the same. So we can store that. And now we're going to need these shoulder nerves, just like the forearm, are always done bilaterally. So we can do it, not going to do it on today, but we're going to do it when you do it on a patient. You would pick your bony landmark, the acromion, and then measure the distance to the electrode placement. So that's 10 centimeters from the acromion is where the deltoid, is where the electrode is. You just take it and do it on the other side and do the same thing on the opposite side. So that's the axillary motor. The musculocutaneous motor is going to be very similar, where we're going to place now the recording electrode on the bicep muscle. We place the recording electrode on the bicep muscle and the reference electrode on the biceps tendon. Otherwise, it's the same thing. So we leave that there, and the stimulation site is going to be the same. Stimulation site is going to be right at Erb's point. So look towards the other side again, and it's a little strong. So here we go. There's a response. Waveform is going to look a little weird shape, but that's normal. Increase it to get super maximal. It's okay to look that shape. That's fine. One more time, and that's it. Stayed the same shape. Again, it's a weird looking shape, but that's okay. We need to move this P marker down. The R goes over there. The return, the duration is over there, and the peak is actually over here. So it's normal for this waveform to look like that. And then again, we would just repeat this on the opposite side. Take the acromion and measure to the biceps muscle where the electrode was, 22 centimeters, and then repeat that on the opposite side. So that's the musculocutaneous. The next one is the suprascapular nerve. So the suprascapular nerve is going to be same stimulation site, but now we're going to record off of the infraspinatus. So we have to palpate the spine of the scapula, which is right here. Here's the supraspinatus. Here's the infraspinatus. The supraspinatus, we're going to place our recording electrode. There's the spine of this, there's the inferior angle of the scapula. We're going to place our recording electrode right over here on the belly of the infraspinatus muscle. So now we need to move our amplifier to the back.
This one?
Yep, we got to move them all. So our recording electrode is there. The ground electrode can go on the acromion again. And the reference electrode goes by the inferior angle of the scapula. So stimulation point, exact same spot. Their Erb's point, right in there. And here we go. And this one looks a little weird, so we're going to move the reference electrode around a little bit. Try to get that waveform to look a little nice. So I move that by the inferior angle. Go again, same intensity.
Oh.
That's a little better. One more time. It's falling off a little bit. Let's move this here. This is a little bit trial and error, trying to find the best location.
Oh.
Hang in there. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
Hang in there.
Oh. You want to take off this?
No, it's good. Just look that way.
You press it too much. Oh. Oh.
There it is. There we go. Increase a little bit.
Oh.
And then look at the same thing side to side.
Oh.
So again, this would be a little bit of trial and error, trying to find the best response and doing a side-to-side comparison. So that's the suprascapular nerve. And then one more to go is the spinal accessory nerve. So before we move that, we got to move that onset marker over. And there, move this down a little bit and have our cursor placements correctly. Then finally, the spinal accessory nerve. We're going to place let's move this back. You can rest your arms down there. We're going to place this at C7 spinous process for the ground. And the recording electrode is going to be on the upper trapezius, about 7 centimeters away from the C7 spinous process. So there's C7 spinous process, there's the upper trapezius, and the reference electrode is going to go in the axilla right over there. The stimulation spot look straight ahead, is going to be halfway along the sternocleidomastoid. So it's going to be halfway along the sternocleidomastoid, right behind it. So here we go. There's the response. And it stayed the same. So it stayed the same, and then we would just reproduce this on the other side. So that is the spinal accessory nerve, and this is always done side-to-side comparison. So those are the nerves of the brachial plexus. Thank you.